But while generals planned strategies and politicians gave speeches, a 3-year-old boy named Hussein was pressing his small face against cold iron bars, crying, just crying. His mother, Samina, was a Pakistani citizen living in India. After the Pahalgam attack, India expelled 800 Pakistani nationals. Police came to the door. Samina was taken and put on a bus to the border. Hussein ran to the window. He pressed his face against the bars and called out to every single person who passed, "Auntie, please bring my mother back." The bus drove away. 7 months later, she still has not come back. The home was quiet after that, too quiet. His toys still on the floor, his mother's teacup still on the table, half full, as if she had just stepped out and would be back any minute. She did not come back, and somewhere across a border, a mother sits, thinking about a small face pressed against iron bars. Across Pakistan, another kind of war was being fought, a silent war. India had suspended the Indus Waters Treaty. The rivers Pakistan depends on for everything were being slowly turned off. Farmers stood on cracked, dry earth where rivers used to flow and watched their fields turn to dust. The Financial Times called it Pakistan's diplomatic victory. The Swiss press called India's operation a disaster. China and Turkey stood with Pakistan. America and Europe stayed neutral. And Dassault Aviation watched its stock fall 7% in a single day. The world had watched and made its judgment. On the night of May 9th, U.S. intelligence sent an urgent warning to the White House. Both sides were approaching nuclear red lines. Marco Rubio began making calls at 4 in the morning. VP Vance called Modi. Rubio called Pakistan's army chief. Trump posted at 8 a.m., "India and Pakistan have agreed to a full and immediate ceasefire." The guns went quiet, but the damage was already done. 4 in the morning, phones ringing in dark rooms, voices tense and quiet, nobody sleeping, nobody eating, just voices in the dark, trying to stop what nuclear weapons start. 88 hours of war, 26 tourists killed in a meadow in Kashmir, 31 Pakistani civilians killed in airstrikes, 16 Indian civilians killed in shelling, at least 3 Indian jets confirmed lost, 15 Indian air bases damaged, billions in military equipment destroyed, and one little boy still at his window, still waiting for his mother. Both governments declared victory, both nations celebrated, flags were waved, speeches were made, but in the villages along the line of control, nobody was waving flags, nobody was celebrating. They were burying their dead and picking up the pieces of the lives that were left. An old Kashmiri man was asked by a journalist, "Who won this war?" He was quiet for a long time. He looked at the mountains, the same mountains that had stood there for 10,000 years before any border existed, before any war existed, and he said, very quietly, "Nobody ever wins here. We just keep losing." The conflict has lasted 77 years. The people of Kashmir did not choose this. They asked only for what everyone asks for: to live, to raise their children, to grow old in peace. 77 years later, they are still asking. Somewhere in Punjab, the wreckage of a fighter jet still lies in a wheat field. Nobody has officially claimed it. Nobody has officially named the pilot. The wheat grew back around it. Life, as it always does, continued, but the metal remained, a reminder of what 88 hours can cost when two nations forget that behind every weapon is a human being. The ceasefire is holding, the planes have stopped flying, the missiles have stopped falling, but Kashmir is still divided. The widows are still grieving, Hussein is still waiting, and the old man is still looking at the mountains, asking the same question he has asked his whole life. When? When does it end? We do not know. Nobody knows. But we know this: behind every war there is a human being, and behind every human being there is a story. That is why we are here. Follow Shadow Archives for the stories that history forgets to feel. The war lasted 88 hours. The conflict has lasted 77 years, and a 3-year-old boy is still at his window, still waiting for his mother. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, share it, because the people in it deserve to be remembered. Shadow Archives, stories history forgets to feel.